Final Fantasy XI's job system is absolutely flawless. I mean, that's not actually true. Many sub jobs are just totally worthless. Like, you'd think each sub would have at least some merit. Regardless, it could feel pretty amazing to finally reach 30 and be able to do the advanced job quests, branching out your available jobs from the original 6 to the broader spectrum of unique, amazing classes that each brought something fun to the table. It was the end of a kind of long road. You had to get your first job all the way up to 18 with no sub job, then you had to earn the sub job, then you had to level that sub job or your new quest, whatever, the combination of the two, all the way up to 30. Only to tackle these unique and challenging quests to kick off your experience with a refreshing foundational backstory of your new role, something that didn't really happen with the original 6 jobs. Look, it felt pretty awesome. I mean, War, Monk, Thief, White Mage, Black Mage, Red Mage, all very cool jobs in their own right, but also so plain. That's part of what makes them amazing. It's kind of cool to have that like foundational, like, this is what I do and I do it great. Even Red Mage's whole thing is jack of all trades. I mean, that's fine. That's what it's saying it is. Going from that to the likes of Dragoon with your pet Wyvern, or Bard who has only songs for magic, like totally unique set of magical spells in the game that nobody else learns, or Paladin, the defensive rock, bringing holy magic to the front lines. It was just so cool. Bringing us to my experience this past couple weeks on Eden, I revisited the Paladin quest line. Now, these quests are completely unbalanced in every way. I mean, the quests at level 30 to get different jobs, they're not the same across the board. It's not like more modern games where you're like, yes, if you do this job quest, you will have this experience. If you do this job quest, you might go to different areas, fight different things, but essentially it's going to be the same level of difficulty. No! Some quests are as easy as click on a dead tiger. I'm serious. That's it. Others require traversing the world, fighting difficult battles against enemies that you can't possibly hope to take alone at level 30, dodging dangerous enemies on the way that you also can't take at level 30. Many of these areas would be places that you hadn't been to yet. It would be the first time you were attempting to get to them. You also might not have been there. Then you fight that tree. It's crazy. For Paladin, for instance, it's actually a string of quests. It's a quest line instead of just one quest, which is kind of unique to Paladin, but it works because you're working your way up the ranks to knighthood. It makes sense in the context of, what you're doing. You're earning your Paladin stripes in a military sense, but they introduce it in a kind of cool game way where even early on, like I think level 7 is the first quest you can get in Sandoria to start earning your way up to Paladin. It's just a cool little unique flavor to Paladin alone that I don't think any of the other jobs have anything like this really. But if you did start them level 7, if you knew it was there and maybe you didn't even know what you were doing, you were just like, hey, a quest, how funny. Although with where this guy was, no chance that you just kind of randomly walked by him. You have to wriggle your way through the back depths of the Sandoria, stairwells and creepy little nooks and crannies to find this guy. In the guide to the quest online, there's like an addendum saying you may be confused trying to find this guy. Here are directions. So the first low level one at level 7 is simply just like get an item, trade it in, share your experiences. It's not that crazy. Get it however you want. You can buy it, farm it, whatever. Just get the item. Second one though, actually has you kind of travel somewhere fairly dangerous. It's deep into the distant and kind of difficult to find Ordell Caverns. Ordells? I think it's Ordells. Anyways, anyone who's ever been here has probably at least at some point gone to the wrong valley. So, to get there, you've got to go down to the valleys of Lothane Plateaus. And there's like one little pathway down. There's a bunch of NPCs that are doing some, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're like it's like a practice research thing. Maybe they're practicing deployments, military campaigns, I'm not sure. Anyways, you gotta run past all those guys, through a bunch of tunnels, and eventually you get to one of like 3 entrances to Ordell's Caverns. Then of course it's one of those maps in Final Fantasy XI that I've complained about before, that there's like 5 different maps and each one has entry points from map A to map B. And it's really hard to keep track of, and that's, it's difficult to keep track of if you're looking at a map online. If you're just in the zone, you can only see one of the maps. It just gets complicated. Point is, if I'd had to do this as my first job, the first job quest I was trying to do in Final Fantasy XI, which many do, Paladin's a very popular job. I'm sure there were many people that are like, I got my warrior to 30, here we go with Paladin, and then you got lost as hell in Ordell's Caverns. I would have lost my mind if this was the first quest that I ever did, first advanced job quest. I might have quit. It's a maze of goblins and slimes and bombs, oh my. Actually, now that I say that, I think this is where I got my Carbuncle's Ruby against these leeches. There are tons of leeches down here. I swear I farmed one here. I don't know if it was my first one, the one that I actually used for the quest, but I got a Carbuncle's Ruby in Ordell's Caverns. Anyways, but I went down here as my lowly level 34 bard to do this quest, and there was a lot in here that could still aggro me, and if nothing else, slow me way the hell down if I did have to fight it. It is not the most easygoing quest line for your first 30, especially if you're by yourself. And this quest is only the second stage of the 3 quest stage Paladin quest line. I have no idea how to say that sentence, but regardless, you're only supposed to be like level 20, 25. You don't even have to be 30 to do this one. Everything in here would have been toughs and above. You better have sneak and invis ready, meaning that you, I guess, must be a level 25 white mage if you're by yourself, or have a bunch of silent oils and prism powders. Why'd that come out so silent oils and prism powders? Anyway, so I made my way through this gloriously beautiful zone, which I really do think it is. It's very uniquely cool, like dripping, crystalline cavern. It's awesome, but I'm mildly terrified as my level 34 bard, wondering if each turn is going to be the next turn where all of a sudden everything's like very tough and incredibly tough, and I find myself running for my life through this, maze of tunnels. But I'm weaving around the loops and loops because you loop back in on yourself constantly. I'm wondering if I'm supposed to do one of those drops, and then if I do the drop, am I going to be in the wrong spot? But I made it. I finally did get to the pool that I was required to get to, which didn't do anything. I clicked on it. There's like nearby bombs and wisps that were like terrifying. And I was like, okay, I'm going to click on it real quick, and nothing happens. So I'm firing up the quest on Final Fantasy Encyclopedia and BG Wiki, being like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. Careful inspection of the quest made me realize that I actually had to walk 10 feet to the east and get like this actual stalagmite dew from a different spot after clicking the pool, which is a classic kind of Final Fantasy 11, just like, okay, not sure why. So I got it, and I warped the hell out of there, which is where things actually started to get interesting. I start to stream on Tuesday night with the intent on finishing up this last part. All we have is one more part of the quest, the actual paladin part of the quest line. I'm now a squire. I've earned the right to test myself for knighthood. So we're in the stream, and I'm like, all right, let's get to Devoy, and I gotta check some old dusty well to earn my knighthood. So this quest is finally snuck way past the whole, you can easily do this at level 30, don't worry about it, just be careful, and straight into the better not get seen because you're screwed if you do territory. This is where this game likes to kind of slap you down a little bit, which is of course exactly what I did. Like halfway through I was spotted. It was bad. Because I'd read a little description, a warning in the quest instructions, not the game. The game doesn't warn you at all. Final Fantasy 11 Encyclopedia, I think, was like, careful, there are some orcs in Devoy that you will have to run past that can spot you even if you're level 75. And I was like, no worries, I plan to be snuck in invis the whole time anyway. No problem. Of course, I was talking to stream and I wasn't really paying attention. I was in like a safe riverbed. I really thought I was okay. I didn't realize that at one section, the riverbed is visible from like that center plateau, and they just kind of look down and like, and they get down there immediately. So I died. I totally died. I died on stream. It was really embarrassing. We were all depressed. I'm more embarrassed than anything. I actually think everybody thought it was hilarious, but I was like, damn it, this is super embarrassing. And it gets worse. I had to warp out, death warp, back to Winders, which is fine, except that Jugner Forest is the one outpost that I don't have yet. So I had to outpost all the way back to Ronfru, run up to Sandoria, get a chocobo down through West Ronfru, chocobo down through Lothane Plateau, chocobo through Jugner Forest, get into Devoy, and then we could start the whole thing I just tried to do again. Luckily, as we're doing this, I had plenty of people to talk to because we're streaming. It was fun to chat with people. By the way, if you haven't checked out the streams, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we stream some stuff, often Final Fantasy 11. Come check it out, say hi. But yeah, so we made it back, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be careful this time. Silent oils, invisibility potions, running through the zone. I was carefully watching it this time, and around the time when you get to the river, it would have worn off. And I probably wasn't really paying attention because the river does have an air of safety. you're like, oh, we're fine, we're in the river. There's walls on both sides, and it opens up all of a sudden. But we made it. I ran through the whole zone. I ran through the whole river section to get to that dusty well. I forget what it's called. Old well? Worn well? Might be dusty well. And then there's like a sneaky jelly hanging out right there. So one last little careful decision had to be made. Okay, how do I get past the jelly? But it was great. It was an amazing time. We had so much fun. And after earning the right to play Paladin, like I actually had to do a lot there, even if it didn't involve fighting some difficult enemies. I had to visit every corner of Vanadil to get this quest done. It's such a different feeling, and you don't even realize how different it is than just having access to a job on a fresh character. And Final Fantasy XIV does this well too, with the quests to earn certain jobs. It's something that's unique to games that offer you to have multiple jobs on a single character. Something like WoW or most of the games that I've played, most of the MMOs I've played, you select a class when you start the game, and there may be a quest line to kind of kick you off on what your class is like, but you've already, you've done it, you're the class. It's just so special. It's so cool to be able to go earn that job through a quest line that I can say I did now, and I earned a Paladin. I am a Paladin. So what are your experiences with the job quests? Paladin isn't even close to being my favorite. I mean, it was a cool story. It was a neat story. It was cool how it was set up as the tiers of quests to kind of earn your way from, I don't know, what comes before Squire? Are you just like helpful kid? But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tiered approach to becoming a Paladin, even though that quest line wasn't necessarily my favorite. But after doing this, I did realize it's kind of sad that we never get a foundational story for these 6 starter jobs. I think that's kind of too bad. Why don't we have that? We're still like, where's the Black Mage quest? What if you just started out, we've talked about this a lot for Final Fantasy XIV, but what if you started out as the Onion Knight? You were just nothing. You didn't have as many like weapon skills as warrior. You could only get to like level 3. You had to do a quest to earn the first 6 jobs. That'd be neat. Anyways, did you appreciate these kind of quests that, you had to best before tackling one of the advanced jobs? Or were they unnecessary and they held back some pretty cool jobs till you were at certain stages in the game? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and definitely check me out on Patreon if you're interested in what goes on behind the scenes, if you want to be inside the head of Huntin for Games, what goes on in this room, the camera angles right over there, and right over there, the background stuff. Just cool behind the scenes stuff. And some personal thoughts that may not be perfect for YouTube or Twitch. Regardless, to go check it out, it's in the description below. Join us on Twitch on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more videos like this, think about subscribing. And if you already have, don't forget to click that little bell next to the sub button to get notified when new videos go live. Hit me up in the comments with your thoughts on this video, or come hang out and chat with me on Twitch every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And definitely look me up on Twitter or Instagram at Hunt for Games to keep up with what else I've got going on. See ya.